Hi guys, I thought I'd get dressed up and put some lipstick on as it's such a lovely day today, and I promised a short video about some comforting children's reads I've been reading at this really difficult time, so I thought I'd share a few with you today, so follow me. So I don't know about you, but at the moment I really want to read as much as I can. It's incredibly escapist, and also to return to worlds I already know and books that I read, particularly when I was a child. And I'm not talking about teenage years, younger. And I've kind of wanted to delve back into, and I've been reading a lot of. And I thought these might be books that you have read as a child, or you can recommend me some books as well. I'd really like that. You might have these in your cupboard somewhere in a box and want to kind of reread them. So yeah, just going to share a few of those today. So one of my favourite series of books as a kid, and one I've been rereading recently particularly, is Beatrix Potter. And I love, obviously, Peter Rabbit, the OG, really beautiful illustrations as well. But even better than Peter Rabbit is the sequel, Benjamin Bunny, because I think Benjamin Bunny is quite a naughty rabbit, and I think definitely prefer him. He gets into a lot of trouble in this one, in Mr. McGregor's garden. And at Easter, it's a really nice time to be reading about bunny rabbits as well. So I definitely recommend these two. They're really quick to read, they're really incredibly sweet. So I've kind of read these yesterday actually. So as a kid, I did ballet for a bit and I wanted to be a ballerina, and if anybody knows how kind of ungraceful I am and how unlikely that was going to happen. But so another book as a kid that I loved was Ballet Shoes. Yeah, just following the three fossil girls through growing up and embarking on different adventures and careers they wanted to do. I really love this book, and I found this version actually I only got a few years ago. I think it's from the 1950s actually, this beautiful penguin book. Yes, 1951, with some lovely illustrations. I got that copy. And then to go along with it, I saw in a charity shop this beautiful English ballet book, which is sort of like the history of English ballet, and this came out in the 40s, and it's got some really beautiful illustrations as well. So it's got, if you can see those, some really lovely illustrations. So I've been looking over these two together and just kind of reliving how much I wanted to be a ballerina as a kid. So this next book was actually a recommendation from a friend on Instagram, The Wind in the Willows. And I'd not read this since I was a child. Kind of following the exploits of Ratty, Mole, Mr. Toad especially, and Badger. It's really great fun, and there's some really lovely as well illustrations in here as well. But just kind of that idea of being inspired by nature, and yeah, uncovering all these different animal stories, whether that's at Toad Hall, whether that's the side of the river on a boating expedition. I definitely recommend Wind in the Willows to go back and read. There's some really beautiful imagery as well in description Kenneth Grahame does, and obviously the illustrations are gorgeous. So the next book is The Secret Garden, the story of Mary Lennox who ends up at Misselthwaite Manor. And this, I couldn't find the edition I had as a kid, but I got this from Barnes & Noble, so an American publisher, a while ago, and it's really beautiful. I love the kind of the silver detailing. And I just love that idea of you kind of been taken to this place, you don't know, there's this mystery, and you kind of uncover this secret space, this garden that's all yours. And I think that idea of a kid of finding kind of somewhere secret is really appealing, and as an adult too I really enjoyed going back and reading this book. Yeah, definitely recommend that one. So just a few more books. So this is the Folio Society edition of Oscar Wilde's children's books. Now I love Oscar Wilde, I've mentioned him before in previous videos. And these children's stories he wrote for his two sons, Cyril and Vivian. And it's really poignant to think that a few years after he wrote these stories, after he'd been imprisoned, he never saw his sons ever again. But there's some really lovely, these stories are kind of all centred around love, which I really like. And all the illustrations in this edition, a lot of them, they all kind of very much look like Oscar Wilde. So for example, if I show you, so in the Happy Prince, as you can see here, this statue here, The Happy Prince looks very much like a young Oscar Wilde, and I think of all my stories, The Happy Prince is my favourite. That idea of this beautiful statue and who sees the toils that go on and the poverty and the devastation that is occurring in the town from his viewpoint, and he can see these all as a statue, and gives away his eyes, the rubies, gives away the gold to various people in the local vicinity, and the swallow is his friend, is meant to be migrating south, decides to stay with him. And I won't kind of ruin the end of the story, but it's a beautiful story of friendship and love and compassion for others. And The Selfish Giant, there's lots of other stories in here, and I think Oscar Wilde's a really good read. If you haven't read him before, his children's books, his children's stories especially, are really just full of love, very evocative. So yeah, definitely Oscar Wilde's children's stories. So there's one writer I read as a child who I read quite often, who I couldn't do this video without talking about, and that is Roald Dahl. My favourite Roald Dahl of all time, as you can probably guess, as I love books, is Matilda. Matilda was kind of the first time I think I remember as a child kind of seeing myself in a book. I love the story in here, her escapade with a parrot, and it is quite different to the film. But I love the book, especially Quentin Blake's illustrations, of course, are gorgeous, but just kind of finding this girl who's so enamoured with books and reading, and it becomes her superpower, I really love. So definitely Matilda, I've been rereading. Also, I found these actually copies I had as a kid of Roald Dahl, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Down Champion of the World. Any kind of Roald Dahl is amazing, but Matilda particularly was kind of like, it's always my go-to. So I talked about Roald Dahl as a child, and this is one of the books that I read. And when I was looking at it the other day and just kind of remembering the story, if you look on the title page, you can see I've obviously written my name, and then my younger sister, Beth, who's filming this for you, has come back and crossed out my name and put Beth and Hannah Squire. So this is the ownership of the both of us. Very important. And finally, the last author I really wanted to talk about in this video is Gerald Durrell. I can't find my copy of My Family and Other Animals. I have like an early, not a first edition, an early copy somewhere in this house. But if you saw a previous video, I'm organising all my bookshelves, and it's definitely somewhere. And I spent ages trying to find it this morning. I cannot, but I can show you a few of the other. So he did kind of a trilogy of his family stories. So you've got Birds, Beasts and Other Relatives, The Garden of the Gods. And then also, just quickly, as a kind of grown-up book, Michael Haig has written The Durrells of Corfu, so it tells you the kind of the real story behind Gerald Durrell's novel. You've also got, so Gerald Durrell also wrote Marrying Off Mother and other kind of short stories about the family, and then Whatever Happened to Margot as well, which obviously is written by Margot, so Gerald Durrell's sister, who appears in My Family and Other Animals and those family books, and this is about later in life when she kind of has children and runs a boarding house. But yeah, Gerald Durrell and the Durrells, the stories kind of captivated me as a kid. That idea of moving to this incredibly exotic place, all this wildlife. I think as a kid you're always really interested in discovering animals and bugs and wildlife. And the relationship between Gerald and his brothers and sister and his mom was great fun. You kind of try to see yourself in the characters. I think I'm definitely slightly a bit of Larry and a bit of Margot kind of mixed in together. And then these are just incredibly escapist. And of course I love the Durrells TV show so much. I even have a couple of outfits based on some that I had made for me, based on kind of some of Louisa Durrell's outfits. So yeah, Gerald Durrell as well, just a great escapist piece. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please send me any children's book recommendations that you think I should have a read of. As I said before, I find children's books at this time really helpful, really therapeutic, really soothing. So I've been trying to read a lot of them and going through all these books. And yeah, they've really helped lifted my mood. I definitely feel better the last couple of days. I don't feel anywhere near as anxious. And yeah, and I hope you guys are taking care, staying safe, enjoying the sunshine if you can, if you're able to. And yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Bye.